What would you do if your partner exposed their betrayal in front of everyone, and instead of breaking you, it set you free? My marriage ended in the middle of a party, before anything even happened. I used to think my life was pretty normal. Good job, nice apartment, a wife people wouldn't stop complimenting. Man, you're lucky, they'd say. Yeah, lucky. See, from the outside, everything looked perfect. Inside, it was like living in a never-ending argument. Wrong tone? Argument. Wrong timing? Argument. Breathing too loud? Honestly, probably an argument. At some point, you stop reacting, not because you've learned patience, but because you're just tired. Anyway, that night, we were at a party. Music loud, people laughing, drinks everywhere. For once, things were calm. She was smiling. I was relaxed. I actually thought, maybe tonight we won't fight. That thought didn't last long. A few drinks in, she got louder. Then emotional. Then honest. You know how people say alcohol reveals the truth? Yeah, it does. She suddenly stood up, glass in hand, and said something I don't think anyone expected. I think I'm in love with someone else. Silence. Not the awkward kind. The heavy kind. At first, I thought it was a joke. Then she said his name. And here's the part that made it almost unreal. The guy she was talking about was in jail. And not just randomly in jail. He was getting out in a month. A whole room full of people. And somehow I felt completely alone in that moment. Everyone looked at me, waiting, watching, judging. And weirdly, I didn't feel angry. I didn't feel heartbroken either. I just felt done. Because the truth is, I was already halfway out of that marriage. Not because of him, not because of what she said, but because of everything before that moment. The constant fighting, the irritation, the feeling that nothing I did was ever enough. So when she finished talking, I just nodded, took a breath, and said, okay. That confused everyone more than her confession. Okay, she asked. Yeah, I said. Then let's get a divorce. You could literally hear someone drop a glass in the background. She laughed at first. Thought I was joking. I wasn't. For the first time in a long time, I wasn't reacting. I was deciding, and that scared her more than anything. Suddenly, she started backtracking. I didn't mean it like that. I was drunk. You're overreacting. Funny how the story changes, when the consequences show up. But something in me had already clicked. It wasn't about the other guy. It was about realizing I didn't want to keep living like that. Not another argument. Not another exhausting day. Not another version of myself. That felt smaller just to keep the peace. The party ended weirdly. People avoided eye contact. Some tried to check on me. I just wanted to go home. We didn't talk on the way back. For once, silence felt peaceful. Not heavy. Not awkward. Just quiet. The next morning, everything felt different. Same house. Same walls. But lighter. She tried to act normal. Like nothing happened. Made coffee. Asked casual questions. And for the first time, I didn't play along. I meant what I said, I told her. No shouting, no anger. Just clarity. That's when it hit her. This wasn't another argument. This wasn't something she could win. This was the end. The next few weeks were messy. Not dramatic. Just real. Papers, conversations, awkward moments. There were times she tried to fix things. Times she blamed me. Times she blamed everything except herself. But I didn't go back. Because once you see something clearly, you can't unsee it. And what I saw was simple. I wasn't happy. Not even close. And staying would have been the bigger mistake. The day everything was finalized, I expected to feel something big. Anger, relief, sadness. But honestly, I just felt calm. Like finishing a long, exhausting chapter. You didn't even realize you were stuck in. A few days later, I ran into someone from that party. They asked me the same question everyone does. Do you regret it? I thought about it for a second. Then I smiled. No, I said. I regret not doing it sooner. Because sometimes, the worst moment in your life is actually the moment things start making sense. And sometimes, losing something that looked perfect from the outside is exactly what you needed to finally feel okay on the inside.